Hello everyone, my name is Asyrafchazz and welcome back to yet another One Piece card game video. So in today's video, we have a casual match between me and my friend Mario, where he's playing Red Green Law and I'm playing the Big Mom starter deck. Just took two decks, smushed them together and then tried it out. So this is just going to be me talking over the match, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the match itself. A lot of interesting lines of play with Big Mom. I'm still trying to learn, but it's a really fun deck, so I urge you guys to try it out if you guys have not. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribing if you want to keep up to date with more One Piece card game content. Without further ado, let's get into the match itself. Alright, so here we go. Red Green Law versus the Big Mom starter deck. Starts off with Nami, which is a great turn 1 play. Finding the Nico Robin, always good to have. And Big Mom usually doesn't have a lot of targets, but there is like Zeus and Prometheus that Nico Robin could potentially clear. So on my turn 1, I can actually play the Queen Mama Chanter, which is an excellent stage card. And you're gonna see some work being put in by Queen Mama Chanter later on, later in the match. So it's gonna be really cool. So pass it back to Red Green Law. He's gonna be playing the Nico Robin and attacking with the leader for 5,000 into the Big Mom. And you know what? I'm at 5 life. I just choose to take it. Apologies that my life is not ordered correctly. You're supposed to put it at the top, but you know, this is just a casual game, so we're just trying the decks out. Passes it back to me, and right now I'm playing the Charlotte Dior. And his ability, you know, you can rest the character and take the top or bottom of the life to put into your hand and destroy something that costs 3 or less. So there goes the Nico Robin. So I just wanted to get rid of all the threats on the Red Green Law's board. I don't want him to fill up the board, and then attack in with my Big Mom leader, which he elects to take. Now down to 3 life. So yes, you are expending a life to use Charlotte Dior's ability, but you know, I don't really have a lot of options, seeing that I'm only using 2 of the starter decks. So there we go. So he attacks in with Red Green Law, I discard, I counter out with Prometheus, just plus 1000 counter, and he does use a Jewelry Bonnie. So I think he searches out a Capone Gang Beige, and you know, he's trying to build up the board so that he can do Red Green Law things, you know, shambles and all of that. So he proceeds to play out the Capone Gang Beige, and I believe he plays another one right here, so that's really gumming up the board. It's gonna be hard for Big Mom to kind of get through, but we'll see how the match goes. So right now I'm just choosing to attack into the Bonnie with the Charlotte Dior, and he doesn't block it, so there goes the Searcher. So Big Mom attacks into the leader, where he just promptly counters out of it with a Nico Robin. Now 5 costs, I'm using the Soul Focus because it's new. I just want to use it. So your opponent has to choose between trashing 1 life or giving you a life from the top of your deck, and he chooses to trash 1 of his life, which was the 5 cost Trafalgar Law, which, you know, that's a pretty good hit. So we were talking, we're not sure what's better. Is it better to take, or is it better to give your opponent life? I think in some situations you have no choice, right? You just either have to choose one or the other. Oh, I believe he attacks into Montior, and then I just counter out of it, and then he plays a Zoro and then attacks into it, and then I counter with Power Mochi, which is a plus 2000 counter and lets me look at either the top of my life or my opponent's life and put it at the bottom. So seeing as I took a look at my own life and I put it at the bottom, so maybe it wasn't something that I need. I can't remember what I saw. Then he plays a Nico Robin. Now he has a full board of 5, so that's really dangerous for me, and then passes back to me. So now going into my turn with the Big Mom, I am using her ability right here. So if you don't know, Big Mom's ability is Dawn 2. When attacking, you may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life area. Then if your life is at 2 or less, then you may place up to 1 card from your hand at the top of your life area. So I immediately just put that at the top because I knew what that card was from my life, and I just wanted it in my hand apparently, and he just blocks it with a Capone Gang Beige. So attach 1 Dawn to Charlotte Dior. I think I'm attempting to attack into the Zoro right here, which he doesn't counter out of it, so probably maybe deciding that he doesn't really need it at that moment. And then I play a Charlotte Snack. Charlotte Snack is a big body on the board, and because, you know, yellow doesn't have, OPTCG is not out yet, so I don't really have access to a lot of yellow cards. Charlotte Snack is aggressive and it's a good body to have on the board itself. Now he attacks with Nico Robin onto the Charlotte Dior, which I probably counter with my own Charlotte Dior. So there we go, saving it. And he uses a jet pistol. Down goes the Charlotte Snack. Never really had a chance to play with that, unfortunately, but you know, that was the right call. Just want to get rid of the threats on my side of the field. He attaches, I believe it was a Tudon onto Nami and attacks into my Charlotte Mondior. And then attacks into my life, which bam, promptly summons out the Brule right there. So that's a good thing about, you know, cards like Big Mom's ability, where you can put cards from your hand into the life. You can, you know, have the trigger cards right into your life area and then bring it out. And this is a cool thing that I was like trying out. So I attach 4 Dawn into my Brule, attacking into the Nico Robin. He promptly blocks it, and then I'm using the stage card Queen Mama Chanter to add the top card from my life to my hand, and then I place Brule into my life. So I have another trigger and a blocker waiting for me if he decides to attack into my life. So that's kind of good. And you know, because if you want to attack with your blocker, it's going to do that anyway. So I just attack 2 Dawn to Big Mom, attacking to Robin. I'm not using her ability here because I know Brule is right there, so I want Brule to be there as well. He just counters out of it, but it was a Punk Gibson. Plays a Zeus, and I pass the turn back to Red Queen Law. So he attaches 3 Dawn into Nami, and then 1 Dawn onto Nico Robin. So it's a difficult position. I probably shouldn't have played out Zeus here, because you know, Nico Robin can just destroy it. But if I brought out like Brule, or if he attacks to my life and Brule is out, then Nico Robin can destroy it as well. So you know, this way I still get the Brule activation right here, and immediately just have another blocker on the side of the field. And now attacking with the Nami itself into my leader. And this is, I believe, just 5k, so I just use a Power Mochi to counter out of it. And this is where it's very important, because I am now looking at the last 2 cards on his life, or at least one of them, and I'll probably look at it again later on. And then I'll just counter out of his leader attack for 6k with a pudding for 2000. And he just plays out the 5-cost Trafalgar Law from the starter deck and passes his turn. So now I have information about one of the cards in his life, and this will come in handy later on, which I'll talk about later. So I think getting information on your opponent's life, especially later in the game, is so important, because like you can kind of see what kind of counters he has in his hand when he's down to that, you know, 1 or 2 cards in his hand, and it's relying on counters of the life. So now I just attack to attach Dawns to Brule, 3 Dawns to Brule, attack it to the Nami, and then do the Queen Mama Chanter thing again, just to take that last card from my life into my hand, and then play out the Brule into the life, just so I can have it as a trigger. Now I'm attacking with Big Mom into Nico Robin, just to kind of get rid of his board. And this is where, because I am now at a lower life count than my opponent, this is where Katakuri comes into play, because Katakuri on play, you can look at the top card or of your life or your opponent's life, and now I have information about both cards in my opponent's life. I believe one of them is a Nico Robin, and another one is a Capone Gang Beige. So just attack into the life, and I believe I gave him the Nico Robin, if I'm not wrong. So that last card in his life is a Capone Gang Beige, which you will see later on. Red Green Law attacks into, I believe it's my leader, so I'm just countering out of it, pudding. And now Trafalgar Law is attacking into my leader as well, so I just counter out of it. Just want to protect my last life, and because you know I have a Brule still, so he restands Trafalgar Law with another Trafalgar Law, attacks again. And this time I do put it into the field, so I have another blocker, and then bam, Jet Pistol again, and then Charlotte Katakuri goes down. So I'm at 0 life. So he has 2 cards in his life from what you can see on the field, and one of the cards in his hand is a Nico Robin with a 1000 counter. So I'm assuming that his other card is definitely a 2000 counter. So I'm swinging in for 8000 here so that he cannot counter out of it. It's just enough for it to hit. And I know the last card in his life was a Capone Gang Beige, so I attack it again with 8000 counter, and that is just enough. So this is why it's so important to really have like information on the last few cards of your opponent's life. So there you go, that was the match between Big Mom starter deck and Red Green Law. Essentially it all boils down to that last few cards and getting information from using Katakuri, using Power Mochi to kind of identify what cards were in his life at the end was really quite good in my opinion, because I kind of figured out that he only had 1000 counter from the life, and assuming that he has 2000 counter in his life, and you can kind of play around that. So I think that's what makes yellow really strong. It's just the information about your opponent's life and what counters could potentially go into your opponent's hand. It's just really good, and you know, it's I hope that this is a great showing. A few things that I realized about playing yellow using the Big Mom starter deck is that it's tricky to play Charlotte Katakuri, honestly, especially against a deck that is multicolored. So like they are immediately starting with less life than you, you are actively attacking into them. So if you are at a lower life count, then you can use Katakuri to its full effect with the rush. But I think even if you just play it out as a normal forecast 6000 power card, you want to utilize that on-play ability to see what's in your opponent's life. So you don't really need to save it till the end of the game, because if you both are at 0 life, you can't use Katakuri's rush ability, and that came out a few times in our testing. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the match. This is just a casual game between my friend Mario. Thank you, Mario, for helping me record and playing with me. I just really wanted to test out the starter deck before OPO3 comes along. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys at the next one. Peace.